The number of people killed in the El Paso Walmart shooting climbs. The politics of gun violence heat up in Washington. And we examine the stock market as numbers fall today. This is 17 News at noon. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. 2 more victims of the mass shooting at a crowded Walmart in El Paso, Texas, died this morning, raising the death toll for the attack to 22. Police still have not released a list of the victims of the attack, which happened Saturday morning amid a busy day for back-to-school shopping. The suspect surrendered to police. This all happened about 13 hours before a separate mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio, that claimed 9 lives. The shooter there, clad in body armor, walking down a row of bars on a busy Saturday night. He was killed by police. This morning, President Trump spoke to the nation about what we can do to prevent another tragedy like this from happening. Tracy Potts reports from Capitol Hill.
President Trump condemning hate after the Texas gunman left a post filled with hateful views about race.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America.
But some are blaming the president for creating a climate encouraging white supremacy.
If you read the quote-unquote manifesto, it reads like a script from a Trump rally.
He must be stopped, and that drive has to transcend partisanship.
I would ask his staff and his team to consider the fact that his words and his actions have played a role in this.
The White House shot back.
I blame the people who pulled the trigger, Chuck. Goodness gracious, is someone really blaming the president? These people are sick.
President Trump announced efforts to identify potential shooters on social media, crack down on violent video games, mental health reform, and red flag laws to take weapons from those who are considered extreme risks, but nothing specific on broader gun legislation. Lawmakers urging Republican leader Mitch McConnell to call the Senate back from summer break to consider universal background checks, which passed the House but stalled in the Senate.
Enough is enough is enough is enough. No one feels safe anymore.
Let us finally have the courage to take on the NRA.
There's no indication lawmakers will end their summer break early to deal with this. President Trump says he'll also ask the Justice Department to come up with legislation that ensures the death penalty for people who commit mass murders or hate crimes. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Meantime, local representatives are reacting to the series of mass shootings. Congressman Kevin McCarthy taking to Twitter to say no one in this country should fear going shopping or going out on a Saturday night. These monsters acted out of pure hate. We must not allow this evil to ever happen again. All Americans lift up the families who are mourning, and we thank the first responders who acted so quickly. And Congressman TJ Cox wrote on Facebook, "I'm deeply saddened and disappointed by the continued senseless acts of gun violence in our country. Congress has taken its first step in 10 years on this issue by voting to support universal background checks, but the American public deserves better. I look forward to continuing to work to ensure we do better to protect American lives and grieve with the families of those affected." All right, we're following breaking news of the stock market taking a dive today as a trade war between the world's largest economies intensifies. China retaliating against the President Donald Trump's latest move. The Dow Industrial Average dropped 896 points so far in trading, and the S&P 500 dropped nearly 3%. The NASDAQ Composite also lagged, dropping 3.6%. The NASDAQ was on track to fall for a 6th straight session, which would be its longest losing streak since late 2016. The S&P 500 also headed for a 6-day losing streak. The major indexes headed for their worst day of 2019 and have also fallen more than 5% from their record highs set last month. Again, wow, just dipping into new territory, down 914 points so far in trading. Again, we have about 55 minutes left of the trading day on Wall Street, so we will have an update for you of those closing numbers later in the of the numbers later in the newscast, and the closing numbers from today on Wall Street coming up tonight on 17 News at 5. Back here at home, the man killed in an officer-involved shooting last night near the Tejon Outlets has been identified. The coroner says he was 19-year-old Marvin Alexis Urbina from Downey. According to CHP, last night around 7:30, they got a report of a reckless driver headed north on the I-5 from Gorman. Officers spotted Urbina near the base of the Grapevine and tried to stop him. CHP says Urbina refused to stop and crashed into another vehicle. An officer shot and killed Urbina after the crash near the Laval Road on-ramp. Tow truck driver Robert Eubank heard the gunfire and used his vehicle to stop other drivers from headed into the crossfire.
I was getting on the on-ramp to I-5 North, and at the beginning of the on-ramp, I noticed immediately that there was some police activity that had just started happening. So I switched on my emergency lights on my tow truck and blocked the entrance to the on-ramp so that no one else would try to get onto the on-ramp where there could potentially be hazard or danger for any travelers. I wasn't nervous, but I could tell that a lot of people were. A lot of people were rolling up their windows. Some were getting out of their vehicles and hiding behind their cars.
KCSO is investigating. They have not said whether Urbina had a weapon. The people in the vehicle that Urbina crashed into complained of pain but were not taken to the hospital. The incident remains under investigation. Police have released a surveillance picture of a man wanted for questioning regarding arson and vandalism at St. Francis of Assisi Church last week. The man's described as white, 6 feet tall, medium build, 25 to 35 years old, bald or shaved head, and wearing black T-shirt with a white emblem on the front, black pants and black shoes. The vandalism happened around 3:40 a.m. July 31st at the church at 900 H Street. The word rape was spray painted across parts of the building and a trash can was set on fire. Anyone with information is asked to call Bakersfield Police at 327-7111. Firefighters expect to get full containment on the brush fire burning near Passaic later today, Saturday of the 5 fire. Many drivers were stuck in traffic for hours as Highway Patrol officials closed lanes on Interstate 5. The fire has burned about 156 acres and is 97% contained. No injuries have been reported, and the cause is unknown at this time. However, pictures appear to show a car fire starting in that area around the same time. We're also keeping an ear on a grass fire up by Caliente at Bealville and Caliente Bodfish Roads. That's about 15 to 20 acres so far, with no structures threatened as far as we know. Meantime, the Mesa fire is 100% contained, and there's been a big jump in acreage. As of yesterday, fire officials said the blaze in the Kern River Valley had burned just under 230 acres, but this morning that jumped to 448. It burned near the Squirrel Mountain Valley area. County firefighters remind residents there to have a plan in place in case a worse wildfire happens and sign up for Ready Kern alerts. Today marks 1 month since the largest earthquake to hit Southern California in 20 years struck the areas of Ridgecrest and Trona. While the city and surrounding areas have made strides toward successful recovery, many say they're still faced with a long road of rebuilding. On July 4th, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit miles away from the city of Ridgecrest. The following day, a 7.1 quake struck. The quake's now leaving many in a state of constant unease. The road to recovery starts with finding permanent homes for those who were displaced by the quakes, rebuilding homes, businesses, and schools. Gateway Elementary was one of many structures that sustained major damage, and it could be putting a halt to the first day of school. Along with structural restoration, the school district plans to prioritize the emotional state of each student on the first day back.
We have counselors on the school site, we have counselors throughout the district, and we've contracted with the County Office of Ed, the Kern County Office, Superintendent of Schools Office, to provide extra mental health therapists and counselors as needed. So we're ready.
Although there's work left to be done, the community remains optimistic, counting their blessings.
You know, those were some big, we're lucky. We're lucky. Somebody was watching over us. It's shocking that we're doing this well.
There are 87 structures unsafe to live or work in, many including mobile homes. The city's currently in the process of waiting on assessments that would determine the amount of federal assistance they'd be granted. Well, it may still be summer, but local teens can do some important learning this week, and it could help them save a life. The American Red Cross and Kaiser Permanente are holding $5 junior lifeguard courses this week. Boys and girls ages 11 to 15 can learn life-saving basics today through Thursday, starting at 6 p.m. The opportunities aren't just for teenagers. It's never too late to learn how to swim, and discounted adult swim classes also begin this week. Those run from 6 to 6:40 p.m. Income eligibility is required for those discounted prices. Spaces for both classes are still available, and you can register for either course at the McMurtry Aquatic Center. Well, you're going to want to get those laps in before our local pools close for the summer. Silver Creek Pool will close on Friday afternoon at 4. That will also be the last day of the summer camp program at the Silver Creek Community Center. The McMurtry Aquatic Center will close 1 week from today. After that, it will only open on weekends through Labor Day. Well, they've frustrated and stumped researchers for years, but doctors may have discovered a new treatment for superbugs. The groundbreaking study coming up. And not what you want to hear, heart disease death rates going up in the U.S. What's behind the rise in your 17 Health Watch? Back on your 17 Health Watch this afternoon, the rate of people dying from heart disease has accelerated in the U.S. Australian researchers studied trends in mortality rates from heart disease and stroke in 23 high-income countries since 2000. The rate has essentially stalled in half of those nations. But in the U.S., the rates have actually risen. Scientists say obesity and poor diets in many of these countries may be contributing factors to the stalling or the increase. Adventist Health is taking their mobile immunization clinic on the road. Today, they're offering free vaccines at Orangewood Elementary School until 2 p.m., so you still have a little bit to get out there. For all the details and a full list of mobile immunization clinics, just go to our website, kget.com. Researchers in Rhode Island are inching closer to the development of a new class of drugs to attack life-threatening superbugs. This has become a major focus as the development of new drugs isn't keeping pace with the rise of drug-resistant bacteria. Barbara Moore-Silva reports.
It's fascinating, the work being done in this lab. Microscopic worms are infected with virulent and aggressive bacteria.
They're smarter. They can outcompete all the chemicals that we'll throw at them.
But that's starting to change with the discovery of a third compound that's showing promise in outsmarting these potentially lethal bacteria, MRSA in particular.
We found a series of compounds that target the bacterial membrane. That is extremely important because the membrane is something that the bacteria need in order to survive.
The challenge has been this.
All cells have a membrane. So you have to find a compound, a new chemical that works against the membrane of bacteria and does not work against the membrane of the human cells.
This newest promising compound is already a clinically approved anti-parasitic agent, and at least in worms is able to attack the bad cells while leaving the good ones unharmed. The other two seek and destroy compounds discovered in this lab, synthetic retinoids that are chemically related to vitamin A.
What is extremely useful here is now we can take the knowledge of those three groups of compounds, and now we can go to the computer scientists and make predictions and model how a compound can differentiate and act and destroy a membrane of a bacteria without really affecting the membrane of a eukaryotic cell.
That was Barbara Moore-Silva reporting. All right, we're checking out your forecast for this Monday with Alyssa.
Today, we are looking to heat on up and triple digits back in the forecast. This weekend, it was 98 on Saturday, 103 on Sunday, and we've had 22 triple-digit days so far this year, and not quite as many as what we saw last year. In fact, we're running about half of last year, so that's okay. We started out today at around 75 degrees. Normal will be around 70, and daytime highs around 97. So we're going to start to see temperatures go back down. 98 is where we peak, and now we'll be back at 97 for a few weeks and back into 96, etc. We're watching here out of the south as the clouds continue to move on up here from the Pacific. So if you are heading to the central coast today, it's going to continue to be foggy in the morning, and then obviously this afternoon that fog will maybe dissipate or just linger as a stratus deck of clouds. So it's going to be cool at the beaches, only around 70 degrees. Meanwhile, those clouds providing there the cool air along the coastline, but for us, we're going to heat on up here in the valley areas, and an area of low pressure will provide some relief by the weekend. There's that upper level low. It's offshore. It'll move on into Northern California as we head into Thursday and Friday, and that will shove that area of high pressure to the east. And as it does so, we're cooling back into the lower 90s for Friday and Saturday. And then as we head into Sunday, a little bit warmer, but not bad. Into next week, temperatures continue to be pretty mild. We'll warm up a little bit and then cool down. So all in all, not a bad forecast for this time of year, especially when we see these troughs coming down from the Pacific Northwest. Let's take you to the tropics and see what's going on as we head out into the Pacific. A lot of disturbances out here, but nothing of note at this point aside from Tropical Depression Flossie. And fortunately for Flossie, it continues to weaken. So it's probably going to dissipate as we head into our Tuesday. And in terms of Hawaii, that's good news because we were looking at maybe some sort of landfall here near Hawaii, but at this point it's just going to be stormy weather, and that's about it. So not a huge deal there as compared to what it could have been. If you're heading to the beaches today, partly cloudy, 71 degrees, nice and cool there. Hot, hot, hot as we head into the valley areas today. 100 in Wasco, 101 in Porterville, 102 in Bakersfield, 103 in Arvin, 101 in Taft. Lows tonight will be in the 70s again. Into the mountains, we have temperatures in the lower 80s for Pine Mountain Club, 86 in Fraser Park, same for Bear Valley, 99 in Lake Isabella, 99 in Kernville, 98 in Wofford Heights. How about the desert? Triple digits. And then tonight, falling back into the lower 70s. Sneak peek of the next 17 days. And of course, things are subject to change after 7 days, but gives you an idea that we don't have too many triple digits in the forecast here. Next Tuesday, Wednesday, looking at 100 and then 90s after that. So air quality today, unhealthy for sensitive groups, 115 for that AQI. And here is the pinpoint forecast, looking then for triple digits Monday and Tuesday, and then lower 90s Friday into Saturday, 92 degrees on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. Lows will be into the lower 70s and then upper 60s. Mountains 90 for Monday and Tuesday, and then lower 80s for Friday into the weekend. Overnight lows falling back into the 50s by the end of the work week. Very refreshing there. And in the Kern River Valley, temperatures here into the upper 90s and then upper 80s Friday and Saturday with lows in the 70s and 60s. So looking hot today. Maddie?
Still ahead, if you need one last getaway before the school year gets underway, you better hurry. We'll have last-minute summer vacay savings tips and how waiting until the last minute might actually pay off.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
All right, we're back in your 17 Business Watch, and we're checking stocks again. When we last checked in about 10 minutes ago, the Dow was down around 915 points. It's back to about down 819 points. So it's swinging all over the place right now as we near the end of the trading day on this Monday on fears of the escalating trade war between the U.S. and China, headed for its worst day of the year so far. The NASDAQ is down 308 points at last check. The S&P 500 down 96. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll have your closing numbers from the day on Wall Street coming up tonight at 5. And oil prices are also dropping today. West Texas Intermediate selling for $54.74 a barrel. Midway Sunset started the day at $59.20 a barrel. The month of August has a lot to offer when it comes to sales. According to Retail Me Not, major retailers are looking to make room for the latest inventory of gadgets, apparel, and other items. Consumers hoping to upgrade their laptops or computers can enjoy big savings on last year's models. There are also major discounts on clothing for the whole family. End of summer clearance events can offer big savings on clothes you can wear right now. It's also a good time to stock up on swimwear. Shoppers may also want to take advantage of August wine sales. Many retailers discount older inventories to make room for upcoming vintages. And for those looking to shed a few pounds, look for savings on diet programs. Summer vacation may be coming to an end, but there's still some time left for a quick getaway before the kids have to go back to school. NBC's Chris Clackham has more about how one last vacation in August may even have an advantage for your wallet.
Like every August, resorts and hotels are offering bargains for late summer vacationers because demand has dropped.
If they have a vacant room, they're willing to give it away for a bit of a deal because they want to make sure that that room is getting filled.
It's not likely airlines will be following suit, so other travel experts say might be time for another summer tradition, the road trip.
Road trips are the easiest way of travel, especially when you're traveling last minute. You just get in the car and go.
Kirsten Maxwell founded the online website KidsAreATrip.com that promotes affordable family vacations.
It's really not too hard to do a staycation and just go down the road and try something new. Book a resort nearby and have a fun weekend away from home.
You might steer clear of cruising the Caribbean in August. The risk for hurricanes can be high, as are airline tickets to Europe. Being flexible with your destination works to your advantage, though.
You're not going to get a sale on like that dream resort or that dream destination location.
Plenty of online travel agencies are offering bargains like that, but you're likely to find deals wherever vacancy signs are out for late summer vacations in August. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
A Grammy Award-winning artist surprises kids at camp. The inspirational message she shared coming up. Welcome back. A Kentucky summer camp got a big surprise when an all-star former camper came to visit. Grammy-winning musician Danny Markham credits the Louisville Leopard Percussionist Camp with helping her get started in the music world. And from the looks of it, she did a great job helping campers find their own rhythm.
So this is for the Maria Quiero Saber song. Who's going to shake her? Okay, shake her. We'll need somebody just holding down like quarter notes on cowbell. Right now, we're just going to learn the cowbell part together. So we're going to clap. I started playing when I was 8, and I discovered music through this program, and I come back because I love it. I love to see kids discovering music, discovering their love for music, being able to from an early age, learn how important it is to express yourself.
I always liked playing the drums. I grew up in church, and I always paid attention to the drummer. And I ended up playing the drums at my church. My mom, she always used to take me to the Leopards concerts when they were the Fabulous Leopard Percussionists. So I was always attracted to that, and they would always bring like the shakers out into the crowd. And I was always eager to just like get some shakers in my hand, like I want to be a part of this.
1, 2, 3, here we go. I first discovered my love for rhythm as soon as I understood that like we were learning these patterns and these rhythms and putting them to these mallet instruments. I was like, this makes sense to me.
Social media and how everything is going, that you always feel like.
And we'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back. Still time this week to help us collect 700 backpacks with school supplies for local kids at the Bakersfield Homeless Center. Again, we need school supplies, backpacks for kids kindergarten through high school, as well as school clothes. And there's a specific need for underwear for kids of all ages. You can drop those donations off here at the station or at the Homeless Center on Truxton. And a quick update, download our 17 News app for the latest on that fire that's burning near Bealville Road. We'll have the latest tonight on 17 News at 5.